It's a little bonus bang with me, Andrew Wheeler. I just wanted to talk about an article that came out earlier this week by Bernardo Sim over at Out magazine. He posted an article titled 13 Out Actors Who Could Embody a Queer James Bond. Bernardo Sim had a couple of criteria. One was age and the other was nationality. Those are the sort of the standard criteria for all James Bond candidate actors. So good starting point. And of course, the third criteria here is that they're all queer actors. As Bernardo says in the article, one way to cast this character in a way that looks similar to what traditionalists want, but slowly opens them up to a new side of the man, is to cast a queer actor as James Bond. Whether this means they would be playing a queer version of the character or not, I mean, that's almost a separate discussion. But I think one would hope, given the queer elements that already exist in Bond, and you can watch our entire podcast for more conversation about that, one would hope that that's something that they could include, but also one suspects that they never would. Hey, the world is changing, just not fast and not always in the right direction. So anyway, this is Bernardo's headline, and I wanted to add my own criteria for assessing whether a queer Bond actor could get the role. So these are my 5 criteria for assessing a queer Bond actor, and I will be subjecting the Out magazine list to this and then throwing in a few extra names. So the first of the 5 criteria is the crown subject. You must be a citizen of the Commonwealth. There's an asterisk there. A citizen of the British Isles is also acceptable because Pierce Brosnan is Irish. He is not a crown subject, but George Lazenby, Australian, is a crown subject. And that means that a lot of actors from other parts of the world, Canada being an obvious example, New Zealand, but also like the Commonwealth reaches far and wide. There are plenty of black actors who come from the UK or come originally from parts of the Commonwealth that could play the role. So yeah, those names would be in the mix. There aren't a lot of queer black actors in the UK currently that seem to be high profile, unfortunately. Insane, I know. But if you think of names, if you know names, throw them out there and I will be more than happy to give them their due in a future post. Second thing, they must be the right age. Now, Bernardo Sims had a list that went into the 50s here, and that's not right. There's been one James Bond, maybe 2 that were in their 50s. I forget if Daniel Craig made it to 50. I think maybe just. But Roger Moore was living in his 50s for the last couple of movies. We don't want another actor in his 50s, and certainly you're not going to cast one in his 50s now. Amazon, I think, is doing the same thing Barbara Broccoli wanted to do, which is casting someone in their mid-30s who can do 10 years in the role and deliver hopefully 3 movies in that time without aging out or without. Actually, Bond is supposed to retire at 45. At least that's what Ian Fleming established in the books, that 00 agents retire around 45 years old. So casting someone north of 45 would be strange. And I think even north of 40 is unlikely at this point. It's the reason why I no longer think Henry Cavill is seriously in contention for the role. Next up, established range. By this I mean, have we seen them perform the dimensions of the character? And I know James Bond, you probably don't think of him as a complicated character, but he does have both the playboy element and the daring do element. This has to be someone who could be hard-edged and threatening, but also seductive and also charming and witty. So with some of the actors in this list, they may not have had the opportunity to show those aspects, or I may just not have seen it myself. I haven't seen everything that all of these actors have been in, so I have to judge from my personal point of view. The next is established record. This is different. This is the business decision. Amazon Studios has paid an ungodly amount of money to get this franchise. They do not want to take a risk, and so they are not going to cast an actor who cannot put up with the strains of this role across 10 years, the publicity demands of the role, the stunt demands of the role, just being in the public eye and being a representative of the studio. It is a business decision, and they're going to take that into consideration. So yeah, this is sort of bankability, except that you don't need to be a proven box office star to be Bond, and I don't think that's what they're looking for either. But they are looking for someone that can steer the ship without plunging into an iceberg. And finally, hubba hubba vava voom, is he hot? And I should stress here, James Bond has to be hot, but all of these men are actors, and actors are by default generally pretty hot. So they all kind of come in with that point already ticked. They're hot. First on the list is Mr. Luke Evans. This is a great choice for James Bond 10 years ago. Luke Evans, very handsome, bankable, established. We know that he can do the role. He's 46. He is older than Roger Moore when he got the role and older than James Bond should be when he hits retirement age. So Luke Evans, it's a lovely idea. I think he's too old. Oh, how did that get in there? Huh. He's definitely hot enough. Richard Armitage is 54, so this was a strange choice on the list. I mean, sometimes maybe you just want to throw handsome men at the world and say, look, this man is handsome. But you'll see here in my ranking system, you can be a crown subject, you can be all the bottom three things. You can have the record and the range and the hubba hubba vava voom. But if you don't hit the first two, the other three don't matter. You're just disqualified. So 54, sorry, Richard, love your work. It's not going to be you. Went with Miller again, a huge Prison Break fan, loved him as Captain Cold. He hasn't done a lot of roles outside of that. He hasn't done a lot of serious roles, so he doesn't necessarily have the track record or the range, but also he's 53. Yeah, it can't be him either. So sorry. Russell Tovey, I love Russell Tovey. He is English, he is 43, which maybe means he is in the role range, but I think it's too old. And you'll see I put a little information sign next to range. I think Russell Tovey can perform anything. I just think if you look at that man, you don't see James Bond. I think you see someone a little bit more working class, a little bit rougher. And I would love to see that spy movie, 100%. But I don't think the audiences are going to buy him as James Bond. Oh, it's happened again. How did that get in there? Yeah, I think he'd be great in anything. Almost, but not James Bond. Andrew Scott, he's Irish, so not a crown subject, but British Isles. It's close enough. We allowed it for Pierce Brosnan. He's 48, so he is too old for the role. He's also already been in a Bond movie. So yeah, that I don't think that totally disqualifies him because people have done this before, appeared in more than one Bond movie, but no one's played Bond after appearing in a different role. It's not like Doctor Who. Ben Aldridge, 39, so just on the cusp here, but certainly looks in great shape, incredibly handsome. I don't think he has a bankable name. And again, my terms here are, have they had movies carried on their star power? Have they had a TV show carried on their star power? Would a studio look at them as a safe bet? I don't know Ben Aldridge's work well enough to know, so I can't give him the thumb up, but what a handsome man. Luke Featherstone, same, Scottish 35, perfect, doesn't have the record, and I don't know about his range. I've only seen him in like one thing. So again, the lack of a tick doesn't mean no. It means I don't know. Joel Harper Jackson, again, I don't know him. He was in the stage play Cock with the lovely Jonathan Bailey when Taron Egerton dropped out. And he's a very handsome, very buff young man. And maybe he would be the perfect next James Bond. I hope to learn more about you, Joel Harper Jackson. Oh, I feel like I have learned more about you. So maybe. Max Parker, I adore Max Parker. He is a former Coronation Street actor. He doesn't have a huge body of work. He's about to be in the Netflix show Boots, so maybe that will propel him to the next level. He is so strikingly gorgeous. He is a ginger, and, you know, there's been talk about a ginger Bond. Well, why not Max? Why not Max? Alexander Lincoln. This is a great pick. Alexander Lincoln, a queer actor who was in From the Side, I think also was in a soap. I don't know which one. 31, so very young for the role, able to carry it for 15 years. He is he definitely has the range, the emotional vulnerability, the physicality for the role. He's not tested in the way that the studio might want. Va-va-voom, va-va-voom. Scores very highly, just missing that track record. But I think he'd be a great choice. Ncuti Gatwa. Could Doctor Who be James Bond? I mean, he's available now. We know that. He's the right age. He is Scottish. He is, I think, bankable, reliable, and extremely sexy. I have put the information I next to his range just because he is so smiley and so just ebullient that in my head, I'm thinking, I've never seen him play a James Bond style role, but I think he could do it. but I had to put a little asterisk right there because, like, you never see a picture of him without a giant smile on his face, and it's like I don't remember any other James Bond smiling. Would Ncuti Gatwa still be Ncuti Gatwa if he was not allowed to smile? But he can do it. I mean, he can do anything he likes. First Dr. James Who Bond, sure, I'm down. Richard Gadd, best known for Baby Reindeer, a comedian who is now a serious actor. He is the right age. He is Scottish. I don't know about his range. I mean, Baby Reindeer, he did show tremendous depth and complexity, but can he do the action side of the role? I mean, he's never been asked to do something like that. So who knows? Jonathan Bailey, the prince among all men. If there is only Jonathan Bailey in the world, there is still a good man left in this world. He is the right age, he is the right nationality, he has the range, and he has the record of carrying movies on his back. He has 6 months apart, Wicked, Jurassic World, Wicked. That's a tremendous burden for an actor to have to carry. These are 3 tentpole movies, and he is part of the major marketing and selling point of all 3 movies. He's also one of the hottest men that ever lived. So he is the last name on the out list, and yeah, Jonathan Bailey, there's nothing he can't do. He does have a bit of the Ncuti Gatwa niceness problem. Let's not call niceness a problem. But actually, I think he can play darker. And like in Bridgerton, he's actually playing kind of a jerk for the first couple of seasons and keeping that sweetness under wraps. And also, if you've seen him in Chewing Gum, if you've seen him in Crashing, like he can play jerky roles. You just also find him magnetic because that's who he is. Again, some other pictures. I must just have some pictures on my. I just guess I have a lot of Jonathan Bailey pictures on my laptop. Yeah. Yeah, he can get it. The role. Okay. Also, the outlist was great, but not comprehensive. So here are some other names I wanted to throw out there. Nathaniel Curtis, he is English, he is 34. I don't think he's ever carried a major production on his back, but he was in It's a Sin by Russell T Davies. He clearly has great acting chops. Apparently he's only 6 foot. He looks like 6'6" to me. Maybe he was just standing around short people in that show. Nathaniel Curtis, gorgeous, talented, would be an incredible Bond. Dino Fetcher, Welsh. We've not had a Welsh Bond since Timothy Dalton, and he was only kind of technically Welsh. He wasn't born there, but he did spend some of his formative years there. Dino Fetcher, 37, ripped, buff, gorgeous, hasn't carried any major productions, and I don't think I've seen him do any intense dramatic roles. He tends to play sort of cops and husbands and that sort of thing. But I believe in you, Dino Fetcher, because I want to see you in more things. So yeah, prove me right. Prove me wrong? I don't know if I'm right or wrong. That's really how I go through life. Jordan Waller, mostly a stage actor, I think. Haven't seen his work, don't know him, can't give him many points, but what a cutie. Fruffy, he is a Crown citizen. He is only 33. He definitely has the range and I think has built up his star power as a reputable actor. He's done a lot of stage work. He was in the Hawkeye show. He was in Lost Boys and Fairies, a brilliant 2-part drama from the BBC. He was apparently in the Zack Snyder Rebel Moon movies. I did not see them, but you know, those are big budget movies. And I don't think Fruffy was the weak link in that investment. So, and is he hot? Yes. I mean, gorgeous. He's got a quirky beauty to him, I would say. That's not a bad thing for James Bond, I don't think. Kit Connor, 21, a baby, too young, can't do it. Mawaan Rizwan, this is a real outlier because he's only really done comedy that I'm aware of. His show Juice and a lot of stand-up. And his brother was in Chaos, the brilliant cancelled Netflix show about Greek gods. But his brother, as far as we know, is not queer, so he doesn't get to be in this list. But Mawaan, I love him. He's so good. He's so talented. He's so funny. He's beautiful. Haven't seen him do drama, so I don't know if he could carry it, and I don't know if he would want to. He's a wacky boy, and I think he would find James Bond suffocating as a role. But who knows? Travis Nelson, this is also kind of an outlier because he's Canadian. People never talk about Canadians for the role, but Canadians are Crown citizens. I myself am a Canadian, though born in the UK, so I get grandfathered in anyway, grandmothered in. But no, I maintain my Crown citizenship. And yeah, I think a Canadian who can do an English accent, and they do exist, could be brilliant in the role. He's 34. He's handsome as heck. He hasn't really carried a huge project on his back that I'm aware of, but let's put his name in the mix. We're looking for a queer James Bond actor. Travis Nelson could be your man. So, in conclusion, here are the four, like, maybe picks: Ben Aldridge, Nathaniel Curtis, Alexander Lincoln, Dino Fetcher. I think those are my, like, top draw picks for an unknown, someone who doesn't have a track record to lean on. But I think any of those for a queer James Bond would be phenomenal. And here are my top draw. These people have already carried big projects picks in ascending order. Ncuti Gatwa, I think, would be an outlier choice because of the Doctor Who thing, but would love to see him playing a super spy. I think he would be an extraordinary James Bond. Jonathan Bailey can do anything he wants and is definitely a star in the ascendant, and I think would bring people flocking to theatres to see another James Bond movie. But actually, my number one choice from this list is going to be Phra Thi, who is under the radar enough that he's not the big budget train that these other two might be, but also, like, he's reliable, he's got the range, he's got the physicality, he's got that stage background that means he's a serious actor who can do exerting, exhausting physical work. He can sing, he can dance. Not important for James Bond, but hey, cute to have. And actually, all three of these guys can sing and can dance, so maybe that's the future we need. Tom Holland was a dancer. Channing Tatum has a dance background. This is the people you want in superhero movies and spy movies, as far as I'm concerned. More dancers in action movies, please. Nobody does it better. She like the little... Anyway, so these are my three picks for who could be a queer James Bond. Will there be a queer actor as James Bond? Almost certainly not. Would it bring new dimension to the role to have a queer actor play a queer James Bond, that is to say, a James Bond who flirts with the boys and the girls? Yes, I think it would be tremendous. Will Amazon do that? Almost certainly no. Could you cast a queer actor to play a straight James Bond? Yes, you could also do that. They are going to add, I think, something new to the role. Queer actors often can bring a sensitivity and a gentility and a confidence about their masculinity that isn't sort of framed in that sort of manosphere's nervousness. I mean, it's one of the great things about Daniel Craig. He definitely has his feminine side. Whether he's a queer man or not, he's definitely in touch with queerness. And I think he brought a beautiful vulnerability to Bond that was informed by his knowledge of a world outside of, say, being a leading man. And I think these actors could do the same thing. So I'm all on board for a queer James Bond, and I think they should give Phra Thi a call. But also, Jonathan Bailey, please conquer the world. Leave in the comments any queer actors you think could be the next James Bond, especially if they're people of color who tend to be less, I think, able to come out early in their careers. But just remember, they have to be in the right age range, 30 to 40. They have to be from the British Isles or the Commonwealth, and they have to be really sexy. So maybe leave comments for really sexy queer men in my comments for the show. Thank you so much. Kiss, kiss. Bang, bang.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBPod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.